welcome to Have I Got News For You? I'm Jo Brand. In the news this week, in Japan, games designers claim to have created a virtual reality headset which recreates Theresa May's Brexit negotiation experience. In East London, there are fears that after being released from prison, one of the Hatton Garden robbers has gone back to his old ways. And there's an awkward moment in a brasserie in Paris when the food comes out before it's properly cooked. On Ian's team tonight is a woman who describes herself as mainly vegan. Me too, if it wasn't for the fish, meat, chicken and dairy. I'd be totally vegan. Please will you welcome Grace Dent. And with Paul tonight is a comedian who says, I grew up on a farm where you were confronted by horrific things, like no broadband. Will you please welcome Kiri Pritchard-McLean. And we start with the biggest stories of the week. Ian and Grace, take a look at this.
Oh, that's Strictly.
Dominic Raab.
And that's the timetable.
The passing of time.
The big news tonight is there is no news.
Yes.
Which you get used to with Brexit. At the beginning of the week, we were all incredibly excited. The deal is going to happen, the deal's going to happen, the deal's going to happen. No, it isn't. So we're waiting now, because there's going to be an extension to the extension period.
I see you as an expert in this. Is there any...
I'm a Gove-style expert.
Is there a chance that we could just keep on leaving for the next 20 years, a little bit like Turkey, who are trying to get in and have been for 20 years?
I think that's a really good plan, and it's certainly better than anything else on the table.
Well, it strikes me that we had a vote in the mid-'70s to join the European Union, and then we had a vote 2 years ago to come out, so that's 1-1. So now we're into extra time.
Yeah. The decider's coming up.
Must be.
We don't know when, but I think it is coming.
Speaking as someone who gets extra time on exams, all that happens is you have a bit longer to sit there and go, why didn't I prepare for this? I knew it was coming.
Are you suggesting the government didn't prepare?
I'm suggesting they probably have the same kind of learning difficulties that I do.
This is the news that everyone's enjoying Brexit so much, we might extend it until 2022. What set Theresa May's alarm bells ringing on Monday?
There was a mini rebellion, the pizza plot.
Yeah.
It's like gunpowder, except with sort of pepperoni. And...
They got together and they ordered pizza and talked about her.
Ooh.
Ooh. Well, actually, the Sun were almost as good as you at explaining it. They revealed it was called the pizza plot because of the food they eat when they plot. That's quite helpful, isn't it? Who's in the pizza plot, then? Do we know?
It's all the extreme Brexiteers.
Indeed. So that includes Sajid Javid, Esther McVeigh and Penny Mordaunt. She likes a stuffed crust. And...
Thin and crispy, or
well...
Jacob Rees-Mogg, as he's known.
And also, an excited source told the Mail on Sunday...
What was the source?
Hey! Have you ever thought about doing stand-up?
No.
Just as well. Anyway, no, listen, an excited source told the Mail on Sunday, we have managed to keep it very secret. And if we just... Yes! There it all is, not secret at all.
I think it sounds cute, doesn't it? It sounds like a sleepover. Like they're all just sat there and one of them spins the bottle. I'd watch that.
What, with Chris Grayling?
Yeah.
I'm amazed he was there. I don't know what transport he took.
What did Michael Gove's wife, Sarah Vine, suggest male cabinet ministers should stop doing in order to negotiate a Brexit deal? Let's have a look.
She is tenacious, she is calm, she just does plough on. I mean, I think it would be quite nice if all the men stopped shouting and screaming and waving their willies around and maybe just gave her a bit of a hand.
It's obviously a lot more interesting in cabinet than I thought.
I know what she means. You must have heard willy waving before.
I have heard of it as a phrase.
Yes.
It was an Olympic sport until 1930.
Surely there must be a bit of willy waving inside the private eye offices. Do you have any women in there?
Sorry?
Any women in there?
He's got an office in the middle of Soho, of course he has. One of the perks.
The Department of International Trade has been trying to help to reduce the stress of the Brexit negotiations on their staff. How?
Foot massage.
Yoga?
Mindfulness.
That is included, but where would this mindfulness
In a
take
spa.
place? In a something room.
Locked,
I would
padded
like
cell.
that. Yeah. It's called a tranquility room.
Oh, yes.
What can you do in a tranquility room?
Listen to soft panpipe music.
You can make a mindfulness jar. You have to fill a jar with water and put glitter in it.
Does Gwyneth Paltrow sell one?
If you can get it up your vagina, she probably... Should we do a psychological experiment on you? I think we should.
OK, yeah.
Yes?
Yeah,
OK.
absolutely.
Right, now I'm going to show you some pictures.
Yep.
You've got to tell me, do you prefer the top line or the bottom line? Ian?
I think I prefer the top line.
Okie dokie.
The top line is definitely more soothing.
Bottom line.
Right, Paul?
Oh, I say the top line as well, because at least they're finished.
OK. Well, if you like the top line, you're a lever. And if you like the bottom line, you're a whinging Ramona, apparently.
Excellent. Well,
That's what
that'll shut the
researchers...
critics up.
That's what researchers say at Oxford University. Money well spent, chaps. What is Brexit being used for as an excuse for not doing?
Anything that involves forward planning?
Kicking somebody out.
Oh, kicking Burko out.
Yeah.
They had a debate about bullying and
That's right.
the shocking behaviour that's been going on in Parliament, and it all got a bit awkward because he was obviously the Speaker and he is one of the people who are accused.
There's like this horrible toxic masculinity culture in Parliament. Who would have thought just a group of public school boys would behave badly when they're put together? It's unreal, isn't it?
Doesn't sound likely to me.
But they still say that John Bercow can't go because he is absolutely the best man in the country for the job.
And the Labour Party is very keen on keeping Bercow in, which is quite embarrassing because the Tories on the whole would throw him out. But he said he's going to have an extension period, a sort of transition, and, you know, implementation over the next couple of years. And he'll be gone by the time most people are dead.
I think you need, like, a single mum with, like, a half-hour window who's had, like, no sleep. She's right, sit down, shut up, listen to what they've got to say, and she'd just rattle through it all. And she'd do it all with baby sick on her. It'd be absolutely amazing.
Do you want to know what Dame Margaret Beckett said?
I won't sleep tonight unless I do.
She said Brexit issues trump bad behaviour. Basically summing up a whole 2 years of news in one sentence. There we are. And in Dame Laura Cox's report, a number of people complain of being shouted at inside the House of Commons and told, you're fucking useless. I think that's being shouted from outside the House of Commons. This is the ongoing Brexit negotiations. At a meeting in Brussels this week, 27 EU leaders enjoyed a dinner lasting 2 hours. It was awkward when the bill came as they tried to work out who owed what, until they realised Britain could just pay for it all. There was at least some good news for Theresa May. On the 28th of this month, the clocks go back, so she's got a whole extra hour to try and sort out the Irish border. Now, unless Theresa May compromises on her Brexit plan, the DUP have threatened to bring down the government. I'd have thought the DUP would be in a better mood this week, now that legally they don't have to bake any cakes for homosexuals. Paul and Kiri, take a look at this.
Harry and, what's her name?
Meghan.
Meghan. They're in Australia doing good work, and she's handing him some herbs.
Sniff it, don't smoke it. It's terrifying.
The most terrifying thing is that the man's been operated by the doll. That's the terrifying thing about it. So, yes, there's two royal stories there, is it? There's the trip to Australia and there's a royal baby. Somebody's having a baby. Oh, they're having a baby. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
I always
absolutely.
assume if it's people I don't know, it must be the Kardashians.
This is the wonderful news for royal watchers that Prince Andrew is one more step away from the throne. Well, how are the royal couple holding up?
She's doing amazingly. She could shut a car door on her own and everything in her condition.
It's wonderful.
Apparently, one royal source told The Express, Harry is an emotional wreck, but in a good way. You wait till he has to tell the baby about his two granddads. I like it when they do that.
Yeah.
How did ITV get the inside scoop about the possible sex of the baby?
They used an inside scoop. I think that's a bit off, isn't it?
They've guessed the possible sex of the baby using Felix the psychic cat.
Of course.
How stupid of us not to get that.
He has quite a good success rate. He's 50-50 on this kind of thing.
Yeah. Let's have a look at him and how
Felix
he
the
manages.
psychic cat. That's not Felix, that's Lorraine Kelly. Or is it? He doesn't do impressions as well.
Phoenix is now going to predict the sex of the royal baby.
Okay,
Phoenix,
here we go.
can we come and can we have a little look,
Right,
Phoenix?
okay, here we go. This
is it going to be, is Harry and Meghan going to have a baby girl or a boy? Oh my goodness, it's a girl.
It was straight in there.
It's a girl.
Straight in there.
Well, there's nothing in the other bowl.
What is the bad news for the newborn?
9th in line to the throne.
Isn't he ahead of Eugenie and Prince Tequila or whatever? His name is.
He's not HRH.
That's
He's
right.
HRT.
He's...
Yeah, I don't understand it, but he's not going to be a royal baby, even though he's 7th in line to the throne. It says he or she will merely enjoy the same status as the child of any ordinary child. Like Duke Ellington or the Dukes of Hazzard, I suppose. I mean, this announcement's great news for royal merchandise sellers. What item unexpectedly sold out this week?
Was it the purple folder that she was holding in front of the bump?
It was.
Yeah.
Office supply stores have claimed that Meghan has sent stationery lovers into a frenzy after the purple folders that Meghan was seen carrying to conceal her bump sold out across the world. Here she is. She could have covered it with my book, which comes out today. Ta-da! So, yes, what's Harry given up to be more supportive to Meghan?
The army. No. Is it Ket?
Is it what?
Do you know what that means?
Oh, you don't know what you're talking about, do you, Ian?
No, it was MDMA.
Has he given up drinking?
He has indeed. He's not touched a drop for 3 months, which has led to him seeing less of his friends. Let's go to Australia anyway. How did Australia's Channel 9 today welcome the happy couple down under?
Did they have loyal viewers dressed up as kangaroos throwing boomerangs at them? Covered in Vegemite?
No, because that would have been good. Let's have a look.
That is the royal flight, we understand. British Airways flight coming in, and we can safely assume at this point of the morning at 6:05, the royals have just touched down in Sydney. Big round of applause, everyone. Thank you.
Well, that's nice, but the only problem is they actually flew in on a Qantas flight. Meghan chatted with superfan Daphne Dunn, who, according to Meghan, is Prince Harry's favourite Aussie. Bit of a kick in the teeth for Jermaine. Channel 9's Today programme had a question for her after she also met Harry. Let's have a look.
Can you ask Daphne what he smelled like?
I'm sure.
Was it a summer breeze?
I'm not sure this is appropriate, but Carl would like to know what Prince Harry smells like.
Oh, quite nice.
So Prince Harry smells quite nice. Hold the front page. Anyone here smelt Prince Harry?
Yes.
No.
What did he smell like?
Vomit, beer and cannabis.
Thank you. That clears that up.
But it could have been me, because it was in the tight phone box.
While on one of their 75 engagements in 17 days, Harry and Meghan were introduced to two things that were named after them. Do you know what they were?
Yes, they had some koalas named after them,
Let's have a look.
Ah, there she is.
which I think quite similar to the royal family. They're good for tourism. They're always encouraged to have babies. A lot of chlamydia that no one talks about. Very similar.
Is that a big problem for koalas?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, he knows.
My personal cost. Well, they told me it was a petting zoo and I didn't know any different.
Apparently, they might have upset Sarah Ferguson, who began tweeting pictures from her daughter Eugenie's wedding.
Yeah.
What were guests fighting on the day?
The weather was bad.
Indeed it was. The wind. Let's have a look.
wind,
Let's have a look at that wind. Oh, we can't see it, but let's have a look anyway.
Is that Robbie Williams?
That is Robbie Williams. I think that's Robbie Williams' mum, I think.
Oh, her hat's blown off. Well, there you go. Oh, look. Oh, her hat's blown off.
I suppose it's one step away from the French Revolution.
Did anyone here camp out overnight to beat the crowd?
Yes, I did.
Did you?
I was in Aberdeen. There was nobody there.
Apparently only 3 people did.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Jamie Howe, a souvenir seller, told the newspaper, I don't know which one, there's more atmosphere on the moon. And how did Fergie nearly upstage the bride?
Parachuted in?
She was late, was she?
She was 6 minutes late, and her hat also invited comment.
Because she looks like
let's have a look.
Stripe from the
She
Gremlins.
pointed out the emergency exits.
Well, apparently it was compared to the golden snitch in Harry Potter.
Yeah.
What did you say she looks like?
She looks like Stripe from the Gremlins.
Is that a good character?
No. How much did all of this cost?
The public bill was £2 million, which is more or less what it costs to guard Anjem Chowdhury.
OK.
So take your pick. 1 terrorist, 800 guests. Don't know what the police are doing, really. Just thought I'd bring the house down a little.
Aren't you going to do any more of your Anjem Chowdhury material?
I've got hours of it.
Yeah.
OK.
It's always a one-man show with it. One-man show, that's the number of people who turn up.
Well, this is the very exciting news of Meghan's first child. At the same time as the pregnancy was announced, it was also revealed that Meghan had baked some banana bread, leading Mail Online to ask, is there anything this woman can't do? I don't know. Love her father?
Everyone, that one.
Talking about the baby, the Mail's royal expert said he will merely enjoy the same status as the child of any ordinary duke. So it's hard to tell at this stage how universal credit will affect him. Guests at Eugenie's wedding included Prince and Prinzessin Ertigan and Ertigan Spielberg.
I bet Spielberg was happy to get into that family, just to break it up a bit.
Well, they had 2 tables, and that was just for the name cards. So, as you say, no relation to Stephen,
No.
by the way.
How do you know?
I've checked it.
Yeah.
I bet you didn't.
I fucking did, Ian. Did.
And that's how Private Eye is edited every fortnight. A little insight there. Little insight. Fly on the wall.
And so to round 2, the strengthometer of news. Fingers on buzzers, teams, and here's the first one.
Can we get an electrician to look at Ian's light?
Yeah.
Doesn't seem to be working for the last 17 years.
Feel like...
This is Daniel Craig, who's got a new baby there, and he's carrying the baby around in, I don't know what it's called. Is it called a papoose? Or
It is.
It is, OK. And this drew the attention of Piers Morgan, who's got a birth on this morning now. So he, in an effort to make himself part of the news, has heavily criticised Daniel Craig for doing something which looks eminently sensible.
Said it emasculated him, though. Was that not the exact word?
Said it.
I don't think the baby
yeah.
can reach that far, to be honest. That's why he's got him up there. He's no mug, Daniel Craig. He's no mug.
Should we just look at exactly what he tweeted? 007, not you as well. Hashtag papoose, hashtag emasculated bond.
But by bringing the word emasculated in, it meant that lots of men who have used a papoose wanted to say that this made them more masculine, which therefore led to days and days of willy waving.
A lot of people posted pictures of themselves with a papoose.
Yes.
Have you seen my Instagram?
Anyone here carried anyone in a papoose?
No.
No.
Well, not human, no.
Was it a koala?
That's the one!
Ian?
Yeah, I did when children were little.
Your children.
Yeah.
Right.
He had to narrow it down.
What is Piers Morgan's acceptable alternative to a papoose?
A briefcase. Put them in a brief. That's manly.
Probably...
His wife carrying the baby?
Well, apparently it's arms. Miming holding a baby, he said, "I believe God gave you arms for a reason." But what if you're holding your child in your arms and you want a fag?
What you do is you put the fag in the baby's mouth and suck through its ear.
Then give that a go.
Give it a go, it's worth it.
That's the book I'd like to read. Merton's Guide to Childcare.
Who leapt to Daniel Craig's defence?
The Hollywood actor, Chris Evans.
But also closer to home, a British comedian. Well, it was Harry Hill, everyone.
Oh, yes.
Yes. He had the perfect response to Piers being a clown by throwing a foam pie in Piers' face. Let's have a look.
Because this pie is for all those men that wear papooses.
Well, Morgan laughed it off, but according to The Express, once the show ended, he was furious as he walked off set. Snowflake. Now, why have fashion designers Fendi faced some criticism this week?
They've done a... Is it a scarf or a coat that looks like...
A scarf.
Scarf
yeah.
You're being born, is the polite way of putting it.
Let's just have a look at it.
Oh, my God.
Well, it reminds me of somebody, but I can't think who it is.
I love the shading on the hair. It's like Noel Edmonds' beard.
Well, if you're wondering how to wash it, Gwyneth Paltrow recommends steaming it. On its website, Fendi describes itself as a brand famous for scarves and delicate foulards. I've never heard it called that before. So, I'm going to say, if anyone ever says to me, what does Prince Harry smell like, I'm going to say, a delicate foulard. This is the Twitter storm in a teacup over Daniel Craig wearing a papoose. Here is 007 with his papoose. James Bond really is a cold bastard. Anything to stop a bullet. Now, according to BBC News, Piers Morgan even tried to get Donald Trump on his side. As we know, Donald Trump doesn't condone fathers being that close to their children. If they're Mexican, he doesn't even let them in the same cage.
That's 4 in a row you've done.
That's quite bad.
Do you want to go for the holiday?
Yeah. Fingers on buzzers, teams. Here's the next one.
The army's worried that its recruits are too fat.
Indeed.
They're lucky to have any recruits at all, because they outsourced it to Capita, who are meant to recruit people, and they haven't. So all the army have got are some fat people. And that's not very good for the sort of running about sort of bits of the war. It helps to have people who can do it a bit faster.
They might help in certain circumstances. Say there was a flood, they could all lie down.
What, as sandbags?
Yes, that's what I mean. Now, responding to a Freedom of Information request, the government revealed that 1 in 10 British soldiers are obese, which is a total of 18,000 troops. The figures are very concerning, said spokesperson for the National Obesity Forum, Mr. Fry. What measures are the armed forces taking to reduce the problem?
They're giving them, like, diet plans and things like that, and some of them have been given gastric bans. So now it means that the weight standards are stricter to get in Little Mix than they are to get in the army. It's very thorough.
We've also apparently heard that they've been given Fitbit bracelets. I've actually got a Fitbit. I think they're brilliant because I don't like to do more than 100 steps a day. So it really keeps my exercise down. Right. And why will none of this matter in the future anyway?
The next war will be nuclear.
Well, apparently, a government report has warned that within 30 years, our military will be populated by genetically modified troops. Military recruits of the future will be able to lift huge weights, run at high speeds over extreme distances, and transmit their thoughts through electronically aided telepathy. When you've been married a long time, as I have, people always say to you, you know what your partner's thinking. I haven't got a clue what my husband's thinking, not since waterboarding was made illegal, anyway. Now, carbs aside, what else has the British military been told to cut down on this week?
Booze.
It's their use of acronyms. Oh. It's been revealed that the armed forces have a handbook with over 370 pages worth of acronyms.
KFC.
That's the top one. A source told The Times that Defence Minister Stuart Andrew has got fed up with people coming to his office and reeling off a list of letters, which he then has to look up in the book. In the spirit of the MOD's fetish for baffling abbreviations, let's play a little game of WTF does that mean?
Yes.
OK. First one, what do we think DVD stands for?
Digital versatile disc.
No.
No?
Well, in an army context.
Are they all military?
Oh, in an army
Yeah,
context.
they're all military.
Oh,
yeah. Sorry.
Oh, wow.
Do you not want to play anymore?
No, I don't.
Shall I just tell you?
Yeah, go on then.
All right, defence vehicle dynamics.
Ah, excellent.
Next one, shed.
Sarge, here's Emily Dickinson.
Special handling and evaluation detachment.
Oh.
That sounds exciting, though, doesn't
Yep.
it? I tell you, one good game I like to play is I like to text teenagers weird abbreviations. Because you know teenagers use, like, LOL and all that sort of thing all the time. It's quite tedious. I think older people need to have their own. So I often text teenagers the ones I've made up. Like, CRB is a good one. Cystitis, really bad. TLL, Tenor Lady Leaked. Try it. This is the news that 1 in 10 servicemen and women are obese. For those related to army personnel, it's the worst fear. A knock at the door to be told by a ranking officer that they're terribly sorry, but your son has been lost in the war against obesity. But they will be recommending, though, he be posthumously awarded the Victoria Sponge. OK, fingers on buzzers, teams.
This is a painting. It's inside the White House, and a Trump fan has sent it to him, and he's had it framed and put up, and it's a picture of him surrounded by great men.
It looks like a jigsaw you'd find in a Christian hostel.
It really does. It really does.
Or like a commemorative mural on a golf club for all the members who died of heart attacks while boffing their mistresses.
out of the charmer, Trump also ended a disagreement with interviewer Leslie Stahl like this. Do you want to see
Yeah,
it?
let's have a look.
Great.
But even the way you asked me a question, like about separation.
Yeah.
When I say Obama did it, you don't want to talk about
No.
it. When I say I did it, let's make a big deal.
I'm going to
out of
run
it.
your answer, but you did it 4 times.
I'm
so.
just telling you that you treated me much differently on the subject.
I disagree, but I don't want to have that fight with you.
Hey,
Or
it's
I would have
okay.
another fight with you.
Leslie, it's okay. In the meantime, I'm president and you're not.
That is the definitive argument.
He's got a small flag on his lapel to remind him which country he's currently ruining. There's a face you could never get tired of punching, isn't there?
Who is Trump being nicer to this week?
The Saudis.
Absolutely.
Because he's very keen that they should carry on buying more weapons. Although he's misrepresented how much they've actually bought. He's claiming 10 times more than it actually is.
Absolutely. Saudi Arabia, who still stand accused of the state-sponsored murder of US journalist Jamal Khashoggi. Last week, Trump said that if found guilty, Saudi Arabia could face severe punishment. However, on Monday, following a phone call with King Salman of Saudi Arabia, Trump said, "It sounded to me like he felt he did not do it."
He does this. It's like when he phoned, when he met Putin. He said he thought the Russians did. Then he met him for 5 minutes and said, no, I spoke to him. He told me he didn't. Oh, that's it then. I mean, if the Saudis said they didn't do it, they obviously didn't.
He puts a lot of faith in somebody who strongly denies something. If they strongly deny it, that's good enough for him.
Yes.
He says that this is just another case of guilty until proven innocent. That was his exact words.
Well, he also added to that line, maybe these could be rogue killers, who knows? I don't know, the King of Saudi Arabia? Now, Donald wasn't the only Trump to be interviewed this week. What did Melania Trump claim in an interview?
She's been held prisoner.
Oh.
Is this what she said? She was the most bullied person in the world?
Yes, that's right, absolutely.
Real insight into a marriage, isn't it?
Well, here's Donald trying to be nice to her by praising her TV performance.
And she did a great job on television the other night. And I didn't do so bad either, but she did a great job on television. Thank you, everybody.
Good umbrella work going on there. OK, time now for the odd one out round. It's just one between you this week. Your 4 are Benjamin Netanyahu, Titus Andronicus, Jamie Oliver and the Queen.
I'm with a restaurant critic, so I'm going to defer.
So, the Queen has certainly been looking for, like, an in-house chef.
Really?
Titus Andronicus. Now, didn't he bake his enemies into a pie?
His enemy's children.
Aren't the Netanyahus in trouble because his wife allegedly fiddled her expenses and something about in-house catering?
Yeah, I love the allegedly. We're miles from Israel. What are their lawyers like? Which is the odd one out, then?
Jamie.
So far off the mark.
Titus Andronicus was the inspiration behind the family bucket.
They've all offended someone.
Oh.
And I'll give you even more of a clue. It is something to do with food.
Jamie Oliver offended people because he, appropriated jerk rice, but it wasn't actually jerk rice. He was
Correct.
Just, yeah.
What are the ingredients of that? Simple question. You're making it up yourself over there. Well, the Queen doesn't do any bakery, doesn't do any cooking, does she? So she must be the odd one out.
So there's a food that the Queen's offended by. She is the odd one out.
She hates garlic. She's banned it from the palace.
She has. That's absolutely right.
And but Prince Philip absolutely loves it.
He does. They've all offended someone with their food, except the Queen, who is so offended by garlic that she's banned it from the palace.
What food has Netanyahu offended people with?
He offended the Japanese Prime Minister when he had him round for dinner because he served him a dessert in a shoe. As in, not a shoe pastry,
Pastry,
in an actual shoe that you... Yeah. And Prince Philip, as we know, feels rather put out about the Queen banning garlic. The former royal chef, Darren O'Grady, said, if we were at Balmoral and the Queen was out, we'd slather his meat in garlic.
Well, I suppose that's one of the perks of the job, isn't it? So you're doing it again, aren't you? You're doing it again. Perfectly innocent remarks are turning into naughtiness. You'd be ashamed of yourself.
Jamie Oliver, we have covered him. He's offended people with his jerk rice.
Mm-hmm.
His defence was, I've never written an authentic recipe in my life. Great news for shareholders in Jamie's Italian. Who took particular offence at the dish? It was Labour MP Dawn Butler, who tweeted to say Jamie Oliver's rice is not OK, having wisely deleted her first draft saying it's not kosher. They've all offended someone with their food except the Queen, who's so offended by garlic that she's banned it in the palace. This is according to former royal chef Darren O'Grady, who's been spilling the beans, which is actually how he lost his job in the first place. The former royal chef also revealed that the Queen and Prince Philip choose their meals at least 3 days in advance. That's optimistic. OK, time now for the Missing Words round, which this week features as its guest publication The Morris Dancer.
Oh, hooray.
Yeah, the good news is they can't sneak up on you to sell a copy. And we start with the history of Morris dancing by John Forrest is what?
It's actually a better read than some other books by celebrities coming out this Christmas.
It's not worth reading.
Well, that's not far off, actually. It is not what one might call a page-turner. This is from a review in The Morris Dancer that starts, I have included page numbers in case anyone wants to follow up my observations. That's the most optimistic sentence I've ever read. Next, hunt launched for criminal who what?
Hunt launched for criminal who stole a pack of beagles, 12 red coats and a trumpet.
It's one of those ones where he just did something stupid to a statue. He put googly eyes on a statue, OK?
That's a nicer story.
Here it is.
That's the kind of bust you have in an Airbnb that you know you're being filmed in.
Next. Police use what to lure wayward pig?
I know this one. It's Doritos.
Well, it says crisps here.
No,
but they
no,
are
no, it was
crisps, aren't
Doritos.
they? It actually is Doritos. I do beg your pardon.
Pork scratchings would be a bit That wouldn't be right.
This is police in California who had to use Doritos to encourage an escaped pig back to his pen. Here they are in action. Yeah, he's got just enough white bits not to be shot on sight. Next, Russian woman lands dream job of what?
Urinating on Trump.
Oh, that would be a lovely job.
Morris dancing analysis.
Is it Miss Novichok?
Russian woman lands dream job of cat chief. Svetlana Loganova is the town of Zelenogradsk's official cat chief, tasked with dealing with all the strays. All she's been given is a bike and a uniform. Plus, I'd imagine a sack and some bricks. Hey, I must have got about 9 of those tonight. I'm so proud. Next, ancient Greeks cured hangovers by what?
Not inventing Jaeger bombs.
If only. They wrapped their heads in something.
They used to wrap their heads in cabbage.
They wrap their heads in cabbage.
Correct. Oh. Well done there.
Good back.
What a ridiculous idea, though. Other suggested remedies are a cold shower, exercise or sex. Pass me the cabbage leaves. And lastly...
That often leads to... One thing leads to another with the cabbage leaves. Look at the stalk on that.
And finally, there is no point whatsoever in doing a Google search using the term what?
Jacob Rees-Mogg, babe magnet.
I thought it was Google tax.
Morris dancing.
Yes.
Oh.
This is an article from the Morris Dancer which claims that if you really want to learn more about Morris dancing, then rather than use Google, you should read their publication. Well, it has got more articles than you can shake a stick at. Final scores are Ian and Grace have 6, Paul and Kiri, just edged ahead with 7.
No.
I'm so sorry.
Great, well done.
Yeah. And I leave you with the news that after yet another Brexit proposal is blocked by the EU, Theresa May says she's open to ideas from any source. In Wandsworth, a dejected resident leaves a planning meeting having been denied permission for a tyre on a rope at the back of his house. And in Gloucestershire, as the weather turns colder, the Duchess of Cornwall is thinking about getting a new hat. Good night.